At least 270 people have died in the UK awaiting asylum application decisions since 2015, figures have shown. I'm going to read into this exclusive from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from Sky News with the headline that at least 270 people have died in the UK awaiting asylum application decisions since 2015, the figures show. Migration charities have told Sky News that the deaths are of people who have often fled horrors such as war, undergone treacherous journeys, and to seek sanctuary. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So, it may not sound like a lot because obviously 270 people since 2015 up till now to 2024, some of what they've found, may not seem like a lot of people. But that is while we have looked after these people. This is while they've been under our watch until their asylum application has been processed. 270 people who have come to the UK for all sorts of reasons, and they have died in our custody. That is blood on the Conservatives' hands, I'm going to put it. Quite blatantly blood on their hands. We know that there's already blood on their hands from the pandemic and the way they've treated us during the pandemic. But this is blood on their hands from these people who did not need to die, who did not have to die, and if they did, and for a lot of them, a lot of the cases, it was a case of if they didn't come, they would have died, going where they're going. I know I'm going to get morons in the comments saying that they shouldn't have come to the UK, they wouldn't have died if they stayed where they were, when they have absolutely no bearing or understanding of what's going on in the outside world apart from what goes on in England. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, who have a very small mindset about asylum seekers and about the situation that these people go through, and have very little morals or heart for whatsoever as well. And they know exactly who they are. But my absolute heart goes out to all these people. They have suffered for a long time, coming to the UK with the intention of wanting to contribute, wanting to have their application accepted, and wanting to work and contribute and be a part of society here in the UK, wanting to be in part embedded into the British multiculturalism that we have, because we are wonderful four nations with great history, great multicultural history, of shared values of all sorts of people who are part of this, about a part of the United Kingdom, that want to be a part of that. And some have come because they've had friends and family who came here beforehand and have been able to build lives of their own here as well. And instead of being given the opportunity to do so, many of them have just been forced to sit and wait while their application never got processed under the Conservatives. The Conservatives never sorted out whether or not they should be accepted or rejected, and just to deal with it. Let's be very clear. Labour, in their first year, have deported nearly 10,000 since they've come into government, and that's from July. So they have gotten on with the job as in comparison to the Conservatives. So people who have a problem with immigration, I'm still waiting for them to give Labour the credit they deserve. They clearly don't have the goals and temerity to do that. So clearly they who have a problem with immigrants have a problem with migrants. Not going to give credit where credit is due on that. But we're talking about 270 people that have died here. Now, you could argue that maybe some of this might be on Labour. I think that's very harsh to say, considering they've only been in government since July. The majority of this, we're talking about 2015 here, the majority of these deaths on the Conservative watch is on the likes of the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, Priti Patel, and others who have been in that role, who have done an absolute crap job. But are they sorry about this? Are they sorry about the loss of life? No, they're not sorry about the loss of life. They never have been. But it should not have happened. They should at least have basic accommodation, the bare minimum basic accommodation. But for some reason, we can't even do that for our own people, let alone for asylum seekers, which is absolutely diabolical. And by the way, this premise that people keep bringing up, that migrants are living in 5-star hotels, Like, I don't know who's telling you this, but that's fake news as well. So at least 270 migrants have died in the UK while awaiting a decision on their asylum applications since 2015, figures have revealed. Home Office data released in response to a Freedom of Information request, FRI request by Sky News, showed the majority of those who have died, 171, were male. 3 of them were teenagers or children. So we've even had teenagers and children die under custody as well. Migration charities told Sky News that the deaths are of people who have often fled horror such as war, undergone treacherous journeys to seek sanctuary. The data is limited to cases where Home Office has received a notification that the person has died, meaning the true figure could be higher. So we don't actually know what the actual number is, because what you have to remember as well, one of the things that previous Home Secretary, I think Sorella Bremen, was trying to do was trying to dump a lot of them, to dump them in the UK, instead of actually processing their applications of whether they should stay or whether they should be accepted or rejected their asylum application. A lot of people basically got dumped. There was that famous story, you remember, a bunch of them were dumped outside Victoria Station and basically were left to fend for themselves, as opposed to the Home Office actually dealing with the situation, which is what we as taxpayers pay them to do. The Home Secretary didn't want to try to reduce the numbers by basically dumping them in the UK and basically having them disappear into the black market rather than taking ownership responsibility. And it was absolutely disgusting action. The charity Care for Callous said these figures confirm what we have known for some time. Too many people seeking asylum die waiting for the government to decide their future. It's time the new government not only speeds up the decision-making process, but ensure it's delivering high-quality decisions that offer people the protection they seek. Migrant Help, a UK-based charity supporting people seeking asylum, said, every loss of life during the asylum process is a devastating tragedy, absolutely. People who have often escaped unimaginable trauma and undergone treacherous journeys to seek sanctuary in the UK deserve the support and security they need while waiting for their application to be processed. The data extracted in October runs up to the end of June of this year, the last reportable period in line with the published immigration statistics at the time of the Freedom of Information request. It comes as Sky News can further reveal, following a separate Freedom of Information request, that in 2024 saw as many migrant deaths in the English Channel as the 4 previous years combined. While 67 people died up to the 8th of November this year, 56 people died across 2020, 2021, 2022 and 2023. That's really, really bad. You know, this rhetoric of stopping the gangs is not going to fix the issue. Unless we set up legal route from the other side of the Thames, this will continue. These were mostly in 2021, with 34 deaths, while there were 4 deaths in 2022 and 12 in 2023. The majority of deaths took place on the French side of the channel, and as such, the figures are not UK government data. According to data from Migration Watch, a think tank that monitors migration flows to and from the UK, while 2024 will finish with more small boat crossings than in 2023, 2021 and 2020. We'll have around 10,000 fewer crossings than in 2022. The charity Refugee Action claimed that hostile or border policies had forced people to taking increasingly dangerous routes to reach the UK, like the English Channel, and it's ultimately led to people losing their lives. I should also point out that from 2022 onwards, we had the war in Ukraine. We had the war in Ukraine, and obviously we also had the Sudan war, and then obviously the crisis in the Middle East as well, with what's the situation in Gaza. So all these things exacerbated conflicts there as well. Of course, what's been happening in Africa is a continuous cycle that nobody wants to fix as well. So you always have migration coming from Africa as well. Small boat crossings and immigration remain one of the key political topics as the government battles to control surging numbers post-Brexit. In an announcement earlier this month, the Prime Minister Keir Starmer outlined a series of milestones to judge his government, but didn't include one on immigration. So this is despite over 20,000 people crossing the channel in small boats since Labour won the election this summer. The government has previously said it is targeting smuggling gangs responsible for the crossings. A Home Office spokesperson said, our thoughts and sympathies are with the family and friends of those who have died. This government has restarted processing asylum claims which were stuck in an inherited backlog. And then while I am pleased that they are getting on with processing the claims, they're still not fixing the problem. The whole border security command bollocks is not going to fix the issue. Let's be very clear about that. It's not going to fix the issue. Like, are they actually going to get a grip on this? No, I don't think so because of global events, global issue, global migration. I've always said that if you want to if you want to stop somebody coming into your home, you need to fix the house that they've come from. And if we're not prepared to fix the homes that they come from, you can't complain about the numbers continuously going up. And I keep hearing this now, time and time again, people saying, why they come to the UK? What so many people really do not understand is that our numbers are we don't have the highest level, but we don't have the lowest level in Europe. But many people think, that we have unbelievable high levels of migration in comparison to other countries, and it's not. Like Italy takes the brunt of it. South of France takes a good brunt of it. Spain takes the brunt of it as well. Greece, and those coming from Turkey, like that's where a lot of the brunt of it comes from. There's a lot of people who really don't understand this a lot. It really is not, and it's just it really is a case of them of those people just really needing to educate themselves rather than just jumping on the Farage bandwagon all the time. And it's a real shame that they feel that they have so little sympathy or care for these people. I've always said this, unless international bodies, international governments on an international scale come together and work together to help these nations where the most majority of them come from, then global migration will always be high. If you want to reduce global migration, you cannot stop migration. Migration is a natural human thing. We literally migrate here in the UK from one house to another. It's literally the same thing. But if we want to, we've got to work globally to reduce global migration. Stopping the conflict in Sudan, stopping what's happening in the Middle East with Gaza and Israel. Sorting out what's happening in Myanmar. The other African conflicts that are taking place that nobody ever talks about. Ending the war in Ukraine so that Ukrainians may be able to finally go home. All these things. If you are serious about stopping migration, if you are serious about, you can't stop migration, but if you are serious, if you are somebody that generally cares about migration, that is so worried about it, and actually wants to see the numbers reduced, then you will agree with me that more needs to be done to help these countries of origin where they come from. And if your situation is, it's not my problem, well, I'm sorry, it's your problem because you are part of this world. The UK is a part of this planet. Everyone's got to play a part, regardless of their size or influence that they have. And the UK should be no different in that. But do you have any sympathy whatsoever for the 250 people that have died? I do, but do you? What do you make of the situation of the asylum applications? The government has processed quite a lot. A lot have been sent back as well. They are getting on with it. However, they are at the moment not having a solution right now when it comes to the boats crossings. So let me know your thoughts and more on all of this down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.